the Colorado Geisha. I know I haven't posted in a while, kind of been busy with things, but I thought I'd make a quick post talking about a few different things. First, we will talk about um, a fan here. This fan here. This is a fan for this is a fan for not kabuki. It's not kabuki. It's not nihon boyo. Oh my god, I forgot. Um, there's a word. I will put a description for what this is for, the correct word, when I edit. This fan is for dance. It's bigger than a Japanese fan and is a bit like bigger, but it's also like a bit narrower. This fan here is the traditional fan using like Nihon Boyo, Kabuki, Japanese style dance, similar to what the geisha and maiko use, sometimes called sensu, sometimes called ogi, sometimes called mai ogi. But this is like the dance fan. As you can see here, these fans look quite similar, but, and this is like as far as this one goes, I do not want to break it. It was something from someone who means a lot, and I'm very appreciative. As you can see, this one is not only taller, but like this fan here is not just smaller, but bigger. So there is the two differences between these two fans. Yes, I'm going to be lazy and put this back up here. Now I am going to talk about something else. It is fall here, especially here in Colorado. It's like fall, it's getting cooler. Winter will be coming anytime now. I'm surprised it did not snow on Halloween. It got pretty cold, but in years past, you had to build your kids' costume around the snowsuit because it would sometimes snow, sometimes blizzard on Halloween. So yes, with the fall coming up, the cooler weather, some of you may be traveling for holidays to celebrate with friends and family. I have a few book recommendations that might help you with the long car ride or plane ride or bus ride or train ride or what have you. Boat ride if you use a boat instead. Here are three books about geisha I highly, highly recommend. We will start with this one. This is called Autobiography of a Geisha by Seiyo Masuda. This is a book of a geisha from like the old time and like through the Second World War. And she was in a small town geisha in a onsen okiya. And it was run a bit differently. This okiya in this particular book is run differently, and their hanamachi, their flower town, is run differently than like some in Kyoto, for example, or Tokyo. So the lady in this book, she got sold to a geisha house. Again, this is like 1920s, 1930s, to the war. I think to shortly after the Second World War. She was sold, and they were geisha, but they did certain things on the side. Got a lot of people who are geisha, even if they're like hot springs geisha, not some may still do it. It's kind of again, it's not the really good, but in the time this book was written, in her particular area, they offered special services or points. It is a wonderful book, and this book was actually written in originally in the 50s. Miss Seiyo-san needed money because it was hard after the war, and also she sent this into a magazine, And I think they gave her so much money. But this kind of tells about her life of being like a geisha, going through that turbulent time of a uh, Okia with extra services. It might have been a whole Ochaya thing. I don't think this place has an Ochaya or Okia or a Hanamachi anymore. I'm not quite sure. It also might not exist as well. But this is a very harrowing. I don't know if that's the correct word, but this is about her life, and it was a hard life for her. But this is, to my knowledge, one of the first books written by a geisha, like completely first. Again, some people do not see Hot Springs geisha, especially back then, as like a real geisha. I don't know. I did the go sogo minasai and it could have been too biased against, oh, these geisha from Kyoto, Tokyo, they're real and no one else is. It could have been a bit of like that too. You know how people can be, my city's the best. These cities do not count, kind of thing. So this is a really good book. There is a point to my rambling. So there is that one. The next book I will talk about, some of you may be more familiar with. And if not, I highly, highly encourage you. If you read Memoirs of a Geisha and thought, oh, how wonderful, how enthralling, it has nothing on this next book. This next book is also written by a real geisha. It is called Geisha Alive by Minako Iswa. Yeah, I think it's Izusaki. Gomenasai if I mispronounce. She is a real geisha. She wrote this book in about 2003, I believe. Her and Author Golden had a bit of a battle. I'm sure you can look that up on YouTube. And she was somewhat encouraged, somewhat forced in a way to kind of do her best to clean up the misconceptions. She is a real geisha. She, I believe, was born in the 30s. So I think she was learning to become a geisha, I think, in the 40s. Do not quote me, because I could be a bit off on that. I know she was a geisha up until about the 70s, I believe. And she quit because, as much as the geisha world is beautiful, there was also some issues she had. And I think some of these issues have improved, but some I don't think have, or not in all areas. I'm not quite sure. But if you want to know what a real geisha is, what they really do, what they go through, you should definitely read this. This is the Memoirs of a True Geisha, and a lot better than Memoirs of a Geisha, in my opinion. I know a lot of people might have a soft spot, especially in the West, because that was their first like real taste of Asian or geisha culture or Japanese culture. But this is the book you should really read. It talks about what a real geisha is, what they do. It is a wonderful read. There is even pictures in this one. I don't know. Yeah, this one doesn't have color pictures. But it talks about what she did. Here's a picture of Minako as a child. Here's one of her, I believe, with one of her onesans, with one of her older sisters from the Okia. It is a wonderful book. She meets royalty. She does her dances. She does training. It talks about different kind of things. Rivalries, frenemies, friendship, different things like that. So if you want to know what a real geisha life is like, highly recommend. It's called Geisha Alive by Mimiko Izwasaki. Did I say Mimiko? I meant Minako Izwasaki. Gomenasai, I'm a bit tired. Now we're going to go to the next book, and my newest book, not just in terms of when it was written and published, but also by terms of buying, I guess. Gomenasai. This is called A Geisha's Journey. I have been wanting to buy this book for years. It's A Geisha's Journey, My Life as a Kyoto Apprentice. It is by Komomo-san. Komomo, not kimono, not kimomo. Komomo, which is Little Peach. And she had help with it and photographer by, gomenasai, I'm going to get your name wrong. Yuki Agino? Gomenasai. But this is a real book, again, by a real geisha. And at the time, this book came out around 2008. Real Maiko just like turned geisha. just became a geisha, graduated to becoming a geisha. In fact, this book here, to help promote the book and clear up misconceptions around the West, Komomo-san actually came to New York. I have a kind of personal connection with this. Like I said, it was around 2008. I have been doing this Japanese style art for about 20 years. I was starting to learn and get into it around 2008. So, and I was in high school at the time, so I get home and I'm watching TV and I plop down in front of the TV. They had this little short 2-3 minute like little news blurb. Her name is Little Peach. It starts out and there's a geisha. And they're like, oh, she's in New York. And it explains kind of why she's there to promote her book, to clear up misconceptions. She did some like performances there in New York. I will include the link to the video on YouTube. Some of the people says a bit of what she does. She talks, she does her dance, she entertains people, and they have like a little clip of some tourists and people in New York. And one of the ladies is like, oh wow, that's something little girls would probably grow up to aspire to be when they grow up. And it was quite interesting. This is the book I'm currently reading. It goes through her steps of becoming a maiko, and then her steps onto being a geisha, the challenges, friendships, all of that she faced. And actually, this might surprise someone, or might surprise some of you. Kimomo-san. I don't know if she was like born in Mexico or if she was raised, but she was raised in both Mexico and China. So technically, if you want to say, oh, there's no Chinese or Mexican geisha, if you count where she like lived, technically your first Mexican and Chinese geisha by living area, being from there, would be Komomo-san. Komomo-san is full Japanese, as far as I understand. I believe that she is. I'm trying to think back, so gomenasai if I get any of this wrong. Her father's company traveled a lot, so she obviously traveled a lot, and people would ask her about Japanese culture. She didn't know enough about it herself, so she eventually gets a hold of an Okiya in Japan. She speaks to them. Things get worked out. She goes to Japan. She goes to Kyoto, and she becomes a maiko. And this is her journey from maiko to geisha. This was in the early 2000s. From like I think about 2000 to 2008. So it took her about roughly 7 years to go from maiko to geisha. And it is a wonderful book. It tells you the truth about it, and it's all in pictures. You have it's all in English. Different pictures as you see here. It's quite beautiful. Yes, this is where I stopped reading because I've been busy. I haven't had a chance to catch up with my reading. Gomenasai. But yes, here you can see Kimomo's. Why do I keep saying Kimomo? Komomo-san here is dressed as a geisha. She's in her geisha clothes, getting ready to go entertain and dance at an izashiki. And there is a kimono dresser helping her get dressed. It's a lot to put on the kimono. Even if I don't wear a hikizori, it is a lot. Most of the time I do it by myself, but sometimes I get a little help. Like my partner, I had him hold my obi. This is a 2-piece obi. And I had my partner hold it for me so I could get it on. But this takes a lot of work doing the makeup, hair, kimono, obi. So the real geisha, 9 out of 10 have someone to help them with all that, which is wonderful. Here is also a picture of Komomo as a maiko. This looks like New Year's time in Japan. You can tell by the kimono, the obi, this gold obi here, this godare no obi, long maiko style obi. This furosore she's wearing, it's a hikizori. Furosore, it's a trailing skirt is kind of what it means in English. And you can tell by her kanzashi, she's wearing the rice ears. And that is like something they wear during New Year's. It's like good luck, good harvest, good future kind of thing. She is wearing the kanzashi, I believe, for January here. I think she might be still a first year maiko. she's doing a dance. It looks like a dedication dance, from my understanding. Kodari no obi, and she's wearing this black furasode. It is so beautiful. This black hikizori furasode. Um, in Kyoto, from my understanding, is when the Geiko and Maiko worked down there in Kyoto, they wear these long trailing obis, or kimono, kimono. They wore the hikizori kimono, these long kimonos that drag on the ground. In some places like Tokyo or other places, some may, and it also could be, depending on where the okiya is, some just wear normal kimono, normal length kimono that are not hikizori. They're not, super long like that. You don't wear them trailing. Some places, it depends, because if you have many years built up, you can wear hikizori when you build up. Some places it's only for geiko, but some places, if I guess maiko or hengyoku, which is an equivalent for maiko used in some places outside of Kyoto. I think most places, there might be a few places that call their maiko, call their trainees maiko, like Sakata. They have like Sakata Tea House, Sakata Maiko, the Gurenin Maiko in Osaka. I know they had that for a while. I don't know if they still do. Some places they do call their trainees Maiko. Some places they have the Daddy no Obi, but I think most places do a different kind of knot. There's various theories and reasons why. But this book is very wonderful. This came out in 2008. This is my latest book I purchased. To go with my collection and reading. Here is the back. You can see some information. She's getting ready with the makeup artist and her wig, her katsura. Her hair, like this one here, she is wearing her own hair. This one here, Minako, is wearing her own hair. This one here with oh my god. Seiyo, this I believe is a wig. She's dressed as a geiko. In this picture, and she is wearing the hikizori. Again, it just depends on the okiya, I think, and the hanamachi, how they do on that. These are all three wonderful books I highly, highly recommend. If you're a bit of sensitive to things that are a bit traumatic and rough, you might want to skip this one. But definitely these two books, definitely wonderful. I highly recommend these. Highly, highly, highly recommend these if you can find them. So please check these books out. I'm sure the authors would appreciate it. I'm sure many people would appreciate it. I would appreciate it because these books are so wonderful. So hopefully that will help you with your reading list. I will make a video on my hikizori soon. So yeah, please stay tuned for all the exciting things we have coming up. Different things we have planned and coming up both here on the channel and in person. So please stay tuned. We appreciate it. I am Yuki and I'm with the Colorado. Thank you very much for watching. Arigatou gozaimasu. Bye.